kind of falls between cool and like challenges. So this is gonna be one of those like my type of stories where it's like it will seem like a tangent, but it will make sense in the end. So
We
Okay.
hope.
there's a comedian named Tom Myers. He's from Maryland, Baltimore. He's he's very bad. Like he's a horrible comedian. But the thing is, he's so unaware that he's so bad that it's funny, which goes in circle. It's good because he's so
It's so bad that it's good.
good. Yes, Tom
Mhm.
Myers. Like yeah, anyway, if you have time, check it out. But the whole Tom Myers thing kind of made me really think because I'm working in the COVID community testing center.
Mhm.
So in a very low socioeconomic area in Eastern New Zealand. And I have to tell you guys, like, even if this is a first world country, poor is still poor. Like they have government support, but bro, it's still very bad. You know, it's still poor. And like and like Jude, if you have like first-hand experience and like being around, people
Mhm.
in that bracket socioeconomically. And
Mhm.
it really it really paints a picture ba in your head na shit, like damn that's the way they live. That sucks. And then but majority like a lot of my friends here are, they're privileged to say the least.
Mhm.
And every time I hang out with them, it's always all about social justice, the environment, is this sustainable for the earth? And before I would listen to it and I'm like, oh yeah, yeah, maybe, they're right for being concerned about, you know, plastic or like McDonald's or how many liters of water does a hamburger need, blah blah blah. But then it just dawned to me like try saying that to a family of 12, single income household, 12 people in the house who's like someone's birthday or a celebration to them is going to McDonald's. You know what I mean? Try to
Mhm.
tell them that the shoes that they're buying is made by like little Chinese slaves. To them, that's a luxury. To you because you're privileged. You're coming from this place, and your concerns are really you know like bigger, I guess. You're thinking
Mhm.
about the welfare of the planet. You're thinking about your big idea that will change the world or whatever, do good to humanity. Like these people are just wanting food on the table. And going back to Tom Myers, like how do you know? Because we all know a version of Tom Myers, right? We all know a musician that like thinks he or she is the shit and then actually terrible. We all know somebody who's like pseudo intellectual who tends to like you know think that they're really smart, but they're really stupid. They just they just own the dictionary at one point in their lives. Like, how do you know you're not Tom Myers? Because that made me think, Jude, like, when I was hanging out with my friends and they're all like, oh, the environment and blah, 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 the world. And I'm like, you guys, you have no idea how some people live. Like, you guys aren't going to those families and giving them some of your food, you assholes.
Interestingly, katong that David Attenborough's documentary about the environment, essentially, no,
Mm.
his first solution actually is to kanang what is this? Increase quality of life of kanang people, meaning, you know, basically kanang get rid of the people, not get rid, but like, make the people you were talking about, Koiba, kanang make
Like the
them have
Germans did.
better. Yeah, sure. Um, Kyle. Uh, no, but like to get
And
their standard of living to get their standard of living higher ba. Okay,
yeah,
if you get like the quality of life of people high, a lot of problems solve themselves. A lot of like environmental problems. The
That's
main the
true.
main one that he was pointing at was population increase. No, So it seems like humans are just populating themselves over and over and over. But it turns out, paradoxically, the ones who have a lot of kids tend to be lower income populations or households. No,
Mm.
once you reach a certain level of income or quality of life, for some reason, people have less kids. No,
Mm.
so in a way, it will population according to him. Now, I'm not an expert. I only play one in the podcast, but uh, according to him, the population will plateau once you have a lot of these majority of the world populations kanang quality of life or kanang income increase,
Mm.
no, which
Actually,
is
it's you just educate women. That's it. Everything will follow.
oh, you think
That's
so?
and that has been shown in the data. You educate women, uh, and urbanization. So and
Just
you
to be
know,
clear, you're not saying women are uneducated. You're saying that the vast, like, there are like populations in the world that
no,
are
what what,
ano yun,
what
diba?
correlates with
Mm.
lower population without any like enforced sterilization or some sort of brainwashing people or forcing people to do whatever. It's like you educate women. That's it, and that has been shown in data.
Yeah,
And that
because they will have
that's
careers and they won't want to have kids like Japan.
True.
exactly. So
Yeah,
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 and
so
that's
it's
how rich
Pero
Japan is
it's
right
so
now.
interesting that you mentioned that Carlo, about improving the life of people so that it will help with environment, because one of the things that I was reflecting on before, on the digital marketing side, was I was trying to create a campaign for lesser trash, because people seem to throw their trash everywhere. And if you look at the communication material of environmentalists, it's always, you do this, this will happen. You can prevent this from happening. That's always like that. And then I was thinking about it. Marketing is all about putting value into the message. And I cannot imagine, I mean, here, from our perspective, as more privileged people, it's high value to us to have a protected environment, because we don't want floods, we don't want all these catastrophes. But you talk to someone who works on an 8 to 5 job, barely has anything to eat, goes home in a very kapoy way of transportation, and you tell them, don't throw your trash on the floor, the small candy wrapper. For them, it's like, I'm too tired to think about these things, and it doesn't, it doesn't affect my life and my survival right now, at least not directly. I don't want to care about it. It doesn't have value to me. You cannot scare me into taking care of the environment. But if you change the people's lives and make them more part of this good lifestyle, they're afraid to lose that good lifestyle. So therefore, they will get more involved with protection environment. And that's why I feel na ineffective ang environmentalists today. They're just not effective in communicating it, because you cannot fix the people's mindsets if their lifestyles are all messed up right now. And
Yeah,
that's
that's that.
why,
What's the
yeah.
chick's name? Greta Thunberg.
Sorry?
The how
Greta
dare
Thunberg,
you?
yeah, oh my
Yeah.
god.
The thing is, like, if you're not coming from a place of kindness and love, it will be very hard to get people into your side, no matter how noble your cause is. If you're doing this to people, like, even if you're asking them to, like, walk an old lady across the street, they will not do it. Yeah, because you're being a dick about it.
but you were asking earlier, how do we know whether or not we're Tom Myers?
Yeah, bro.
I think we all are, man. It's like we are not aware of how stupid we are. It's like there's no way we could know, how inept, and like we couldn't operate if we actually knew. If
Yeah.
we saw ourselves in all our ugliness, we couldn't get up in the morning. Whatever. It's like so we have to have this certain, what you call this, um
Baseline.
it's like a delusion of
Yeah.
our who we are. Huh? So,
Yeah, I
I
was just
mean,
getting. Yeah, I was thinking about that too. About, like, in order to do great things, though, you have to have that kind of that level of delusion that Tom Myers have. that he's a good comedian and keep going because
Yeah.
him being so bad that now it's funny. He's actually great.
Yeah, but the thing is, like,
It's so
it's
good.
also like you want to see how people see you. You want to
Yeah,
be aware of that because it seems, but the way you say is like it's either he's a genius that is doing this like multiple layers of like I'm this, but I'm not this, but
yeah,
or he's truly not aware of how people
yeah,
perceive him.
yeah.
But you wanna know that like how people perceive you. But at the same time, is that who you are? Do they really see you? You know, perhaps you're just presenting something that is impressive, but it's like ultimately it's like are we really.
We're all just Tom Myers.
Yeah, exactly. It's like some of us are just better at projecting something that is impressive to other people.
Mm.
Mm.
No, but ultimately, like what are we, man?
Yeah, but perception becomes reality at one point, right? Like, you know,
Yeah,
you present
you
yourself
could convince yourself and other people
yeah,
that you're good, but but that's just like from the perspective of it's like um relative goodness.
mm,
Like if you're just competing with other people.
yeah. I think
Anyhow,
a good way to navigate that is just always use like love and kindness as your compass. Sounds like cheesy and stupid, but I can't I don't know any other like fancy word for
yeah,
it.
man.
Like as
This
long
is
as you're coming from that place, you're not trying to like be better than other people. You know, you're
yeah,
just
man.
being you just want to help other people.
Exactly. I think this is
Yeah,
like the ending part of like every drinking conversation. We're always talking about love and meaning and saving the world.
So
And
with
this is
that in mind,